Hello everybody, welcome to another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the brand new album by the pop rock band Maroon 5 with Love Is Like. So Maroon 5 is a band that's just had a very notorious discography of just instant decline after their debut record, Songs About Jane, which while that album did have some big commercial hits that constantly get played on radio still, such as This Love and She Will Be Loved. Both songs that gotta mention the word love because, radio. But, yeah, and the album, obviously, this new one mentions it in the title. So, while honestly there has been some creativity with the Song About Jane album, the decline from Maroon 5 going from kind of this more grounded soft rock sound to just developing into a mesh of pop rock, some rap, and just downright hip hop, I suppose. There's been quite a bit of variety in Maroon 5 in the discography, and now with this new album, they kind of dabble more into a yacht rock sort of sound, which, I mean, it might be something they've done before. Frankly, I can't really say. I just know of the existence of the band and had some terrible albums, especially one of the worst ones being their last album, the 2021 release, which was an absolute abysmal listen with just some downright terrible songs like Memories, which was quite a memed one. I only knew about this song due to AI Family Guy memes, so not the best impression. Now, Maroon 5 have just at this point gone to being one of the kind of bands that just fizzled out. Barely anyone has taken notice of this new record, and I don't blame you, to be honest, because why would you necessarily want to listen to a band that's just had a flop of an album after album? Not in success, just in terms of creativity. That each album for the last over decade has just been awful. I don't think the band's even had anything remotely good since 2010 or even before that. It's just disappointing just to kind of see how instantly they go onto this direction. Now, I personally don't really care for yacht rock. I feel like the way they take it here doesn't do anything innovative, original. It just sounds basic and bland, but I gotta give credit where credit's due. It's probably the best album of theirs in such a long time, but with the standard they've set with some of the latest stuff, I don't think that's really a high margin that they could necessarily struggle to beat. There's some just most of the songs on here are just whatever to kind of bad, and that's it. It's more or less just kind of a nothing burger of a record. It's not offensive, it just is so safe in what it does that I don't think it would necessarily really piss anyone off or make them think, why? It's just kind of a, oh, well, I just listened to that, and you don't really have much an impression of, probably won't do that again, sort of ordeal. I feel like this is an album that's just listened to once, that's it. It didn't necessarily take too much time away from you or from your day, but you're not really inclined to get any leverage out of it. There is some abysmal songs though. I mean, for sure, second half is where it really starts to decline heavily into some of the worst songs on the record. This starts off with I Like It featuring Sexxy Red. Oh my god, this was pretty bad. Sexxy Red already is a very controversial artist with just some downright awful songs. I personally find her voice really grating, and her on here was probably the part that really killed the song, and for there on the momentum of the album as well. There is not really anything I'd bother with on the second half, nothing that the first half hasn't already covered, so you're pretty much just getting the same treatment over and over again. There's just no point to it. There's also a deluxe version as well, which even has a song Closer with Marshmello. Are you fucking kidding me? And then there's just not really anything else other than you have a Lisa collab, which is fine. Didn't hate it, didn't like it. And then Lil Wayne, I personally feel like his feature here was a lot more prominent than his last feature with the band, so I'll take that. I just don't think it really adds anything or goes anywhere amazing per se. It's just kind of a fine direction. It's just yacht rock, and at least they can kind of do something that fits the staple of the genre without making it look abysmal, but I can't really say Maroon 5 have outdone themselves too much when there's not really anything good on here, even though the quality hasn't been as bad as some of their previous records. I can say that there is a lot more consistency than Geordie or V. It's just disappointing to see what Maroon 5 have become, but I've never really been big on them. I just wanted to see if there was a possibility they could kind of climb out of the slump. And even though songs about Jane isn't necessary for me either, I still think that that's just kind of the one album that they will have that a lot of people think they did have a good album, and then they just completely nosedived into the most mainstream, forgettable, bland direction that they could, all because Adam Levine likes to kind of have the glory and success, it looks like. I always just think at this point it's the Adam Levine show, but it just doesn't even... I don't really care, to be honest. It is just bland. I don't think this is really anything that would entice a Maroon 5 fan to go back and enjoy them once again. It just feels like the most beige, bland album of the year. And I mean, to be fair, I was not expecting Maroon 5 to kind of be that. There is some albums that are just so bland I have no reason to even think about it. But yeah, Maroon 5 kind of takes the cake this year. We've had some pretty forgettable Nothing Burger albums the last few years, but this probably is the big one this year. I feel like barely anyone knew it existed. I feel like barely anyone knows it exists now. So yeah, this is the new Maroon 5 album. Probably going to give this one a 2 out of 5. It's not the worst thing I've heard. There is definitely worse, but I wouldn't say it's really far off the worst either. I'd rather have an album that kind of annoys me rather than an album that has almost nothing to it. It just feels like an inoffensive, bland album that actually somewhat feels like an accomplished, well-produced record compared to what they've had recently. So yeah, even by Maroon 5 standards, this is fine. By normal album standards, it's just not very good. So yeah, I hope you'll enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.